am in Columbus, Ohio. We have a snowstorm coming through, and my internet did let me know that it might be down. So, but it hasn't made its way through yet. So we have some time to chat. Hey.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
I want to give you your flowers. I want to recognize you as the master that you are and the gift that you share with all of us. I want to make it known that a lot of times the true masters on this planet are not the ones who are as well known, but they're the deep listeners and the ones who provide that space, that container for others to really be seen and heard. And I see that in you, and you show up for us. You share your gifts, you share your talents. Sometimes I pop on and I join, I can never say this, Kwayung? How do you
Oh,
say it, John?
qigong, qigong.
Qigong. Why is it spelled with a Q if it sounds like a C?
Yeah, they spell it chi, like Q I is chi, but it's in
Okay.
China, Chinese. Yeah, China.
Pardon my cultural ignorance. I enjoy it. I enjoy how you show up for all of us. And I really just wanted to recognize you as a walking master who leads with their heart.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I received that. Thank you for that
Yeah.
feedback. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. It's just, it used to be really, really tough for me to take like compliments like that, just to take that sentiment. So I'm learning how to receive. And Ashley, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
I see you.
Mm. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for joining us. When you have joined us, Ashley, what do you feel like when you're doing qigong? What do you feel when you're working with energy?
I feel a lot of things. Sometimes I get a little bit of an emotional release. Other times I access things inside of me that create a little bit of a giggle or euphoria. I've
Hmm.
experienced that as well. And
Okay, okay.
I
And I mean, go ahead.
I love how you narrate the way you say things. That probably contributes to me actually having a joyous experience because of the way you describe the movements. So I'll be standing right here watching you doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
And as I listen to you describe it and the way you rhyme, I just start giggling. Like I just have a good time. I don't know. I have a good time with it. And there have been some other times where I can feel the release of emotion, and it just creates a little bit more emotion. But for the most part, it's just joyous. It's an enjoyable experience, not just because of the moves we're doing, but the way you lead us through the process.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad that you feel it, It's like they say we gotta feel it to heal it. That's how we reveal it.
Yeah,
So you're definitely, working with emotions, working with your emotions to find more
absolutely.
devotion and raise the energy quotient. That's what we say,
I
you
know
know.
that's right.
Yeah. So that chemical cocktail of feel good feelings in the body, the oxytocin, the dopamine, the serotonin, the endorphins, like all of that stuff, just an alchemical potion as we work with emotions. It's that energy that is always in motion as we're, like the ebb and flow of the ocean. So it's like working with the rhythms. Yeah. Yeah.
Our own.
Mhm. And
It's
I
ours.
go ahead.
It's ours. So you're bringing us into our body. It's self-sustained, self-cultivated. I don't need a screen. I don't need to go buy something. I don't need to eat something. I don't need anybody else. I can self-sustain, self-regulate, and self-cultivate. And
Mhm.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We all need that.
What other practice have you done that was similar to that, where, in the realm of self-sustaining, just being self-containing? What other practice is similar to that for you?
I would say yoga or any type of somatic exercise,
Mhm.
if you go on YouTube and you were to type in somatic release and then your specific emotion, you'll find different stretches or movements to work through that.
Yeah, yeah. How long have you been doing that, Ashley?
Years.
Wow.
On and off years. I mean, not as much as I should, but when I feel the the poke,
The,
the nudge, the agitation, I go back into my work.
when it's poking, when it's poking you? What?
It's like that agitation when all of a sudden you're in a situation or an experience or just life in general. It might not be anything specific. You just get agitated. That's the time to go in to figure that out. What is it? What's going on inside of me? What's going on around me? How can I purify my field and connect and align myself with my highest potential, frequency?
Hmm. You remind me, somebody said, I forgot who it was actually, and you've most likely heard this before, but they said something like, if you can't meditate for even like 20 seconds, or you need to meditate for 20 minutes, or if it's like, if you can't meditate for 20 minutes, then maybe you should meditate for an hour. Like it was just like kept increasing the more that it's painful to just press pause and to slow down, then we need it the most. Like those are the times we need it the most. Those are the times we need it for growth. And I saw that you put up a post about, the reasons for meditation and just that relaxation and recalibration with the body. And you seem like someone who's had a lot of meditation, in the energy bank. Like you put a lot of hours in, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jerome, it goes so much deeper than that. It goes so much deeper. Our minds can be manipulated with sound and light frequencies. And if we don't claim and command our systems, something else will.
Right.
It's necessary. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Every single person should be meditating. If you want to free your mind, if you want to manifest the life you desire, you have to do that. You have to learn how to reclaim your systems, how to quiet the mind, choose your thoughts. Your mind should be a tool. You should be using your mind. It shouldn't be using you.
This is tremendous, like you're giving me Morpheus vibes in the Matrix.
Crazy you say that. Today, I was going through some anatomy of the
Okay.
brain, and they were kind of pulling apart, expanding it out, seeing how everything is, and it actually looks quite alien.
Hmm.
And when I look at some people and I see, in their eyes, they're disconnected from their divine, they're disconnected from the light.
Hmm.
It's an entire system where the brain has been taken over.
Hmm.
And this is how we've created our reality. It's an accumulation of frequency input and output
Hmm.
through each human being. So, in order to really have a heaven on earth, which is possible as we reclaim all our systems, purify ourselves, body, mind, spirit, we can create that. But you have to know how to quiet your mind. You have to reclaim your systems
Hmm.
because there's stuff in there.
Right.
There's stuff in our bodies that we don't know about that disconnects us from the divine, from the truth of who we were meant to be.
Okay. This is true. Like I was saying, just the recollection that I got from you, Ashley, when you were speaking about freeing the mind, is the conversation that, Morpheus was having with Neo in the Matrix about you have to let it all go. The fear, the doubt, the disbelief, and everything in between. You just let it go and free your mind. Like free your mind of what do you feel is the limitation? It's just in your imagination. So when it comes to meditation, just these methods and modalities that even ancients, the sages throughout the ages, you know, the philosophers, like all of the people that we hear about throughout time, throughout history, the Stoics, you know, all these people, they somehow understood this. But in this modern day age, a lot of us have gotten away. Why do you feel like people have gotten away from meditation, from that basic foundation, as you say, that is necessary, not a luxury, a necessity? Yeah.
Why do I feel people have gotten away?
Right.
I think that the true understanding of what creates our reality has been kept from a majority of humanity. I think the real teachings and the real understanding of how we create a world of form has been hidden from most people. They're in a they consume information and they just spit it out
Mm.
without truly understanding what it is. I think imposition, I would say things have been imposed and the sacred teachings have been lost and hidden and only provided to a select group of people. I
Mm.
don't think it's necessarily that we've chosen to disregard those teachings. I think we've been imposed upon and led away from those teachings.
Okay. So a little something more sinister.
Yeah, I would say so. A little sinister.
Okay. Can you describe your meaning when you say that we have been led away or led astray, and it's not our own doing, but something else that has almost forcefully taking us away from this divine?
Oh yeah, the music, the TV, the food, all of it. It's right there. That's the program. And we don't realize we're feeding.
Mm.
We're feeding into the program. We're eating it and then we're just spitting out more of it. We've been programmed, misguided, misled, used as an energetic fuel tank
Mm.
for certain structures on the planet. And
Well,
I want to move into something more positive.
okay.
I want to share with
Yeah.
you one of the structures that I came across
Okay.
on my recent trip, which I told you about.
Uh-huh.
So talking about where we're headed, where we've been, everything we've experienced as a humanity, as a society, the manipulation, the imposition, the interference between us and our direct connection with source. It- let's focus on where we're going.
Hmm. Absolutely. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I had a recent trip and I told you a little bit about this. I was on a trip and we visited multiple locations through Mexico, Belize, Honduras. I took a 50-minute boat ride in Belize and I was in the heart of the jungle, untouched by man. And different areas of the planet have different dominant energies, different instruction sets, different beings that contribute to what manifests and materialize in that area of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I met someone very sacred. Her name was Oshun, and I felt her
Yes.
on the river
Yes.
as I was in this boat. I'll never forget it. It was a spiritual experience. And we have this phenomenal driver. He's a Rasta man. He's got this boat filled with white people from the United States. And he's telling us about the Mennonites and Christianity in the area. And she's telling me, no, no, no. The people are connected to the land.
Mm.
They work with her. They work with her and she works through them, purifying their sacred waters, the crystalline structure that is you, the water in your body. She was showing me that. And when I navigated that town, when we got off that ship, I was on a cruise and I went into Belize, I could see it in the people, in their eyes, in their hearts, in the way they treated each other.
Mm.
There wasn't a lot of mind control, thought control. It was
Mm.
cleaner. And you'll find that in different areas of the world. I live in Columbus,
Yeah.
Ohio. This is a very heavy city. Once I got out on the water, I locked in like that. within seconds between me and God. I was locked in. Here, it's going to take me a little bit longer, maybe 30 minutes of meditation to really lock in because of the frequencies that exist within the field.
Okay.
They seek to sustain themselves. And when we were, diving into that conversation, what happened to humanity? How have we gotten here? Well, it's frequencies. Yeah,
Frequency.
there's some frequency interference here,
Okay.
but we're going to reclaim our planet.
Of course. Absolutely. So the frequency is like affecting what we do frequently via the frequency. And with Oshun, with your divine encounter with Oshun, how long had you known Oshun before you had that spiritual encounter, before you had that?
I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't.
so did you even know about Oshun, her name? Like,
Uh, Maybe she came across my path. I
wow.
might have seen her on some text or something. That's
Hmm.
definitely a possibility. This isn't the first deity that's come to me.
Right.
This isn't the first one.
Okay.
She recognized me as someone, seated from the stars. This isn't my first rodeo. I've done ascension before.
Hmm. So how did you feel in that moment when you were recognized? Like what did it bring to you in that situation as you're just, feeling the vibration of Oshun? Like how did that give you something that you never had before?
Not only did she give me something I never had before, but she helped me reclaim parts of myself
Mm,
that were spread out.
okay.
It felt like she worked on my solar plexus, which is a will center, and it's also a gateway where we will spread our light quota throughout time, space, parallel realities. She helped me reel all that back in.
Wow. Wow.
I felt it. It felt like a golden sun in the middle of my torso, and I didn't want to get off that river.
Oh man.
And when I got home, I would just say the name. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it right. And I could still feel her. I could still feel her because she embedded information within my sacred waters, within the crystalline structure of my body. We are full of water,
Hmm.
but you don't cut the body and water comes out. It's
Right.
crystalline,
Mm.
it's structure. And she provided me something, a type of
Hmm.
code to take and share wherever I go.
Yeah. Yeah. So how has that changed your dynamic with humanity as a whole? You talked about how it was like a reclamation, and it was information. It was like there was a formation inside you that was reclaimed, that was reframed and retrained within you that you already had, but it was like something that emphasized and enhanced what was already there. So how did that, change the awareness with you now? How do you interact with people today that you didn't before? Like, what is the post Oshun and the pre Oshun, Ashley?
Well, this was specific to something I had gone through. So, I'm sure and probably many of those who will watch this understand we are multidimensional,
Mm.
multidimensional beings existing in multiple places at once. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I had a choice point a couple years back, and it created what I would call a soul stream. So this is an aspect of my light, of my soul stream, that projected forward and defragmented into an AI timeline. She helped me reclaim that aspect. So it was the collapse of time and space and a recollection of my light aspects. When we talk about past lives or parallels, ideally, we would be fully whole into the wholest of the wholeness in this now present time space reality and reclaiming all those parts. Some of them serve us, some of them don't. They're connected to different timelines and potentials that may not be the most desirable, whether that is past or future. And what she did for me was recognize first, who I was, which gave me a lot of confirmation on the work I do. And two, she helped me reclaim some of those aspects,
Okay.
bringing me into a more whole state, collapsing that timeline potential.
Okay. Thank you for this explanation and this breakdown of like the collapsing of the potential and the light aspect. You know, these are not terms and just phrases and terminology that I'm used to, that
I
I'm
do
very
my
familiar.
best.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it, Ashley. You know, because would you say that it takes a being like Oshun or a being, you know, of that nature to really unlock, to lift and to shift us in that way dimensionally?
You know, I'm glad you asked that because that leads me into something a little bit more expanded. So Oshun is divine dispensation. She was divine, a keeper of the earth, a supporter of humanity, a,
Mm,
s- someone aligned with a free world and this planet being an angelic race. There are other deities and beings on this planet that do not give like this one.
mm,
They take. They take aspects of you to feed who and what they are. So not all of them are in full support. Some of them are operating as a darker structure and seek to sustain themselves. This specific one was light.
mm,
She was light. She came directly from the higher celestial realms as a being that helps with the formation of nature.
mm.
Not all the deities are like that.
Right, right. So, what would one have to look out for to differentiate, you know, the beings that give and the beings that take? You know, what would
Sacrifice.
say again?
If they're sacrifice, if they request a sacrifice from you, that's a great indicator that they are not of a divine dispensation, that they are not in support of an angelic heaven on earth humanity.
Okay, okay.
That's how
And with all,
you know.
so that's indicative of one of those beings, the takers, like
Yep.
the drainers. They're trying to gain off of your energies so that they can drain off of your energy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow, Ashley, have you encountered beings like that? And if you
Yes.
have, yeah, like what were you able to do? How did you protect yourself? You know, how did you, you know, what were you tasked with coming up against a being of that nature?
They call you. They call for you to come and to provide them something. And I heard the call. It was I forget its name, but it was a being that exists in Mexico in the Mayan ruins, and it kind of looks like a dragon, and it called and it wanted blood. It wanted blood sacrifice to sustain itself. That's the call I heard. And at that point in my journey, I would have done that, but I didn't. I didn't make my way there. I didn't offer that offering. I was divinely guided and protected to a deeper understanding. And as I worked on myself, as I cleared out my emotions, as I purified my body, as I reclaimed all parts of me in service to the Most High, to the divine, to those higher celestial realms that support angelic humanity, heaven on earth, I stopped getting those calls. They
Mm,
couldn't reach me. They couldn't reach me. That's how you know. That's how you know what's calling you. What are you participating in? And you
okay.
don't know till you know.
Right.
I was very fortunate to have a significant team, which I've had all my life, to
Mhm.
support me. Although I've gone through things, I've participated in things as a way to learn and to understand the
Mm.
darkness. You know, doctors study medicine, people like me study the
Oof.
darkness. And we know it.
Okay.
We know it well.
Knowing both worlds, you know, knowing both sides of the coin, you know, the yin and the yang,
Yeah.
you know, the light and the dark, the right and the wrong, the yin and the yang. So my goodness, you know, when you're talking about this, I'm just thinking to myself of scenarios where I've come up against it felt like I came up against something in the astral realm, like in the dream realm. There's been times where I definitely felt like something was reaching out, like you said, it wanted a sacrifice.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps.
Okay, go ahead.
Without a shadow of a doubt, things have come for you.
Okay.
You're a peacekeeper. You're a unity
Mm,
field.
okay.
Do you feel that inside of you? And I'm sure
Okay.
you've gone through challenges in your life where
Absolutely.
you've, succumbed to the darkness, and you've gone there and you've spent time there and you've learned it, and you now understand it. We have new rules. There's new rules for the game here and where we're headed as a race. And if you're on that path of unity, harmony, liberation for the planet, you're a threat to what exists here and seeks to sustain itself.
Mm,
It requires something. It requires our attention and participation, and it requires the resources from the elemental fields.
okay. Okay. So there's a lot that's required, but it's through our choice whether we give what is required or not. Because when you speak, Ashley, about us, as beings, not many people I hear talk about us as an angelic race. You put these words together often when you speak, endearing terms and qualities about human beings. You don't just talk about us like we're just mammalian species. You talk about us like we're an angelic race, almost like not like Homo sapiens, but like Homo
Yeah,
celestius,
that's
you know?
right. That's
That's
right.
you refer to us like that. Is there like what is the reason for that? Because I don't hear that often in everyday conversation.
It's your possibility, it's your potential. If you choose that for yourself, if humanity chooses that for itself, it will find itself among other races and species as a cosmic citizen.
Mm,
But it is only through that purity, through the purity of the light quota, which is in fact angelic, that you can actually expand beyond where we currently are, to really find your place as a cosmic citizen, and to expand into the
mm,
whole. We have to reclaim who we are as a race. First, as an individual, reclaiming all systems of your body. When you're in harmony with universal laws and nature, there's no disease.
mm,
There is no disease. What that disease is the manipulation of the technology that is your body, the living light. It's a manipulation and it's a siphoning of your life force. It's incongruence within your field that creates little black holes that siphon your creator God force into different places, spaces, parallels. And I know that sounds pretty Stranger Things, but it's true.
I heard you say this at one point, Ashley. I remember you talking about sugar, and you were
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
you got a vision. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was like a vision you got vividly
First time they
that
showed me.
yeah, that it was like sugar was something that was siphoning, like creating black holes within the system and siphoning our life force energy.
Yeah.
Could you like recall that vision?
I remember. I remember that. And that was right around the time that I was eating refined sugar. I had this thing for like sour gummy worms. And after that, I went on like a 3-year detox of my colon, of my blood, working with different herbs. It's very challenging with the food we eat,
Right.
but it's necessary because in order to reach those higher levels, and I've always known this, that deep knowing, in order to reach those higher levels of consciousness, to connect to the higher space and time fields that create form,
Mhm.
that materialize everything we experience, you have to get rid of everything weighing you down, and not physically, but metaphysically, consciously. That stuff gets in the way, and it creates interference in our body.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
become the light source for something else that is a bit more sinister, that seeks to sustain itself, but has not unified with source, with God. It is in a different type of realm.
Right.
And then it goes even deeper. It just defragments and defragments, and the holes go deeper and deeper.
Right, because what do you feel like was the initial attraction that drew you to the gummy worms in the first place? Like, what draws us to the inorganic substances that some people, feel is a necessity? Like earlier, you said meditation is a necessity, but somebody with a different mind might think those gummy worms are a necessity. Like, I need that, every day to function. That's like part of my identity. For me, years ago, it was the cinnamon toast crunch, the Lucky Charms, the ramen noodles, like all of that inorganic material that just can be found nowhere in nature. That was, in my nature, just eating that every day. But it wasn't my nature. It was like something that I had, accepted and just, you know, kept going. So what do you feel was the initial attraction? Was it something from childhood? Was it something, yeah, what drew you to it?
That's interesting. I don't really know what it was. It existed inside of me. It was
Mm,
an information and an instruction that was coming from inside of me. But where did that instruction come from? At some point, I would say it was around me,
mm,
and then eventually it made its way inside of me, and then it started speaking to me that I was that, until I consciously decided I wasn't, that I was
mm.
going to spend years of my life harmonizing my systems and reclaiming all my light in service to the Most High, so that I can align with nature and with universal laws and organization, not to feed into an AI and become that.
Okay. Okay. So now we're really getting into the realm of, very
Now we're
philosophical.
getting weird.
No, I love this. I love this. So, throughout time, Ashley, throughout time, there's been philosophical debates on, predeterminism and free will. You said, I consciously chose, I consciously made the decision. I was no longer going to be in that frequency or that vibration. I was going to raise my station,
That's
I was going to
right.
go further. So, with people who feel that they have no control, like there's that voice inside of them that's telling them what to do, that's telling them what to eat, what to consume, what to be more in tune with. But you're saying that, I mean, are you saying we have complete free will at any moment in time?
It's a delicate dance. I mean, we say we have free will, but really, what's happened here? Not really. Not
Mm,
really. I can feel it in my city. I can feel the frequencies and what's going on and what it incites and induces within the human beings in this area. I can feel that.
okay.
You see it on the TV. We think we have free will. You're playing the music, you're watching your television show, all of a sudden the commercials come on. You don't realize you're paying attention to it, but something's getting in.
Right.
It's a delicate dance. It really is. And what has happened here to us as human beings is it's beyond sinister. It's a significant interference where free will has been borderline taken away,
Okay.
and it's just like significant manipulation within those higher realms of creation. There's distortions there, and humanity is at that juvenile stage where we're starting to wake up and recognize who we are, how reality is created,
Mm,
and where we're
mm.
headed is into a deeper form of
Yeah,
sovereignty, and a lot of things are going to crumble. We're going to see a lot of things crumble.
it's
So
exciting.
we're,
It's exciting, just
yeah,
thinking of
it
the
is.
sovereign, like you said earlier, like a celestial citizen, a cosmic citizen. you know, becoming a sovereign cosmic citizen. So, how challenging was it for you? Because you also talk about creating momentum. Like, we need to create the momentum, we need to generate movement and momentum in a direction and to have that connection, you know? How challenging was it when you were in those lower frequencies before you got into all this metaphysical for you to break your way out and do that delicate dance between free will and not free will? How did you do it? Yeah.
Not alone. I didn't do it alone. And it's not like I had people around me. I had a team. I had a metaphysical support team guiding me and assisting me through the process. Mine is a little bit different. Everybody's got a different way that they come to this information. I had a sporadic, spontaneous Kundalini awakening, started moving through my body. All kinds of crazy stuff happened. Broke out in a rash, thought I had lupus. I was like, I looked like a dragon. Like, I, it happened to me in a very intense way. Started hearing voices, seeing different beings. Eventually, I learned how to stabilize. I can only tell you what I've gone through. And I don't think every single person is going to go through that. I had an accelerated ascension to wake me up and get me to where I am now. And it's not what typically happens. I signed up for that.
Mm.
In terms of, so we're talking about the food and we're talking about that voice that tells you you have to have it. Learning how to tune in to your senses, using your body as a tool. Noticing touch, if you can find something, touch it, taste in your mouth, scent, sound, and start to choose your thoughts. What if you didn't? Start by just asking yourself, what if I didn't need that? And then eventually you'll lead yourself to the answers. You'll start to shift the pathways.
Yes.
So it's that's the delicate dance, like really quieting it by tuning into the senses, like noticing the chair that supports you, how you can tune into this now, time, space reality where your physical body is. Just by doing that, you're going to start
Mm.
reclaiming who you are. You're going to command your vessel,
Mm.
purify your
Com-
temple.
it's a command. It's not a request. It's a
Yeah, it's not a
command.
request. It's, yeah.
You're commanding your vessel like you are the captain of your ship. It's a command. It's an order.
And I
That's
see
an order.
DeFresh says chocolate chip cookies. I love a cookie. My dad used to call me Cookie Monster. I love a cookie. And I mean, it's great. You know, it's cool to have those things. You just don't want them using you.
Right. Right. I have so many questions just off of what you said just now. It triggered so many questions. So,
Oh.
just first of all, what was it that triggered the Kundalini experience? Like, what was it that triggered that?
I don't really know. 2 years prior to that, I started hearing things, and I've always been psychic. And the voices, my guides, started preparing me for what was coming. And I started creating a room, like an office space or ritual space. I started buying different cards. I started focusing on a lot of different metaphysical topics. Something was coming. All these people that had passed were coming in. I was seeing things. And then I took a trip to Tennessee and I danced with somebody at a bar. I danced with somebody. Nothing weird or sexual or nothing like that. Just an innocent experience and exchange. That's the only thing I can think of that might have triggered it. When I
The
got home,
dance?
it started moving up and down my body. I thought there was something wrong with my heart. I could feel it. And then it would get stuck at the back of my neck, which come to find out, this is the back of your neck. That's considered the golden chalice, mouth of God. This area on the back of people's heads and up around here is where people get a lot of frequency interference, distortions, embeds, the stuff that tells you you're nothing, you're worthless, you should end your life. It's all up in here and around the back of the neck, the mouth of God.
Oh, this is wow. Okay. This is mind blowing. Just I'm listening to this because, you know, that area around that area as well, I've heard it referred to as the Jade Pillar or the Jade Pillow, like it's really key that, you know, the spine is
Yeah.
aligned, which, you know, in meditation, you know, you're channeling the divine when the spine is aligned, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's almost like you said earlier with that sinister programming or just the agenda of, you know, everybody's kind of you know, on their devices, and you see them walking around with
Mm,
their heads down, and
mm-mm,
like all of
mm-mm.
our heads are kind of down in this position. You, if you've ever been in a restaurant, you look around and you see everybody's head is looking down. You're in the subway, you look around, you see everybody's neck is looking down, like everybody's just looking, you know, and it's really putting a lot of pressure on the spine, and we're becoming misaligned with the spine over time.
I know that's right. Say
So
that again. No, say that
yeah,
again.
you know, you're becoming misaligned with the spine over time. So it really seems like it's disconnecting the mind. Yeah.
That's fine. That's center of your universe.
Mm.
The you in the universe. That spine, you want to talk about reclaiming your
Mm.
body. Start to notice your spine.
Mm.
Notice your spine. See if you can bring awareness to each vertebrae.
Mm.
And then set the intention that you want to align your bone matrix, your spinal column with the universe, with nature.
Right.
From a metaphysical viewpoint, which I can see these things,
Mm.
when you mentioned everybody looking down,
Right.
there's a heaviness on their body.
Mm.
There is metaphysical gunk, and some of it is so advanced within its structure that it almost takes on shape. It almost takes on a
Mm.
shape around people. And it's almost as if they have this plug in, which feeds into an AI structure of reality. How is that reality being created? Through their life force, through
Mm.
the light that was given to humanity directly from source.
Whoa.
And it feeds in to that AI structure.
Whoa. Okay, so this is a huge parallel just now. This is whoa. I mean, I'm getting chills now. So, Ashley, what you just said, it was basically like it was right out of the scene from the Matrix. They were being used as batteries in the Matrix. They had everybody had a plug that was
That's
like
right.
jacked.
I
They were
remember that.
jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were jacked in, and the machines had them jacked in into the simulation unknowingly. You know, they were unconscious, but they all had that, you know, node in the back that had them jacked into the system. And it was like a symbology. It was symbolic.
Yeah.
But what you just said, like, completely mirrored that. That was a complete parallel.
There's another one where they plug in, and that's at the very bottom of your spine.
Okay.
The very bottom of your spine. And this is a different type of plug. This is where you get a lot of sexual distortions and perversions and desires. If that's happening to you, it's because you're plugged in to another layer of information within the space and time field that siphons your life force, your sexual energy out. The human body is so phenomenal.
Mhm.
It's so powerful.
Mhm.
We have so many more chakras and systems that we even know about.
Right.
And the things that we're going to be able to do, moving forward as we reclaim our power, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what some of the kids coming in are going to do and create and change and shift. But we do have to free ourselves
Yeah.
from the addictions
Yeah.
and to
And they're already, the kids are already doing it. You know, I've seen so many things. Years ago, I was really, really deep diving and going down the rabbit hole of like documentaries and videos and places where these kids, it's almost like, you know, like Charles Xavier and the X-Men Academy, you know, the Mutants Academy, training these psychic abilities and training this awareness, you know, seeing all these kids that are able to see without eyes, you know, without the use of their eyes, and they're reading, they're writing, they're playing, they're doing all these things without their sight, you know, they have some sight that's coming from another location, another place, that is not even their eyes. I remember there was a guy that was with one of the kids that was, you know, super blindfolded with one of these mindfold masks that have them in complete darkness. And he drew a picture and he asked the kid to tell him what he was drawing. And the kid said he was drawing a house and he said he was drawing a car. And like he guessed it every time. And he wasn't even facing in his direction, he was facing away from him. The guy was behind him, you know, and the kid was telling him what he was drawing in real time. So the children, I mean, they pick up on these things very quickly, but it's just amazing to see how we can evolve and how we can unlock and just awaken these dormant abilities. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So when you said that, and I want to get this correctly, Ashley, you said that it was a dance with someone in Tennessee that triggered the Kundalini. It
Yeah.
was just, you just danced with him and then you came home and it was just boom.
It it could have been either that specific individual was awakened, and through the entanglement and the connection, they automatically triggered me. That can happen. Or it could have been that area of land where I had gone. There's a lot of things that can trigger remembrance, knowing, activation inside of you.
Okay. Okay. So can we touch on entanglement? Because this is a good point that you make here, just the specific entanglements that we have with individuals that can play a role in your energy field and that can bring you to new heights or, you know, the opposite. Like, how are you today? Very conscious, very intentional about your entanglements.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We have to be intentional about those entanglements and building upon that practice of
Mhm.
self-awareness when you're out in public, just noticing your skin. Where do you stop and the rest of the world begins?
Right.
Bringing observation to that is going to help people who struggle and consider themselves empaths, as you know, like the sponges that take everything in. That used to be me, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I'm like the queen of sovereignty through the practice, through understanding what's mine and what's theirs. And as you continue on this journey,
Mhm.
your intuition, your super
Mhm.
senses are going to build, and you're going to know what's in resonance and what isn't based on how it feels. It's not intellectual, it's
Okay.
coherence of the heart, of the subtle energy
The
fields.
heart.
So you'll know, you let that lead you.
Mhm.
Build upon that practice. Everything you do, I mean, we're perfecting our energy bodies. Spirit's not inside of you, you're inside of spirit. And there's so
Mhm.
much going on in this whole sphere. And, you know, you're helping us clean it up, organize it, get it balanced.
Wow. Wow. You know, something that you said, Ashley, that really, really got me thinking and got the gears turning for me was you said that you were choosing your thoughts.
Yeah.
You said there was a moment where you were choosing your thoughts. And I was thinking about like, what is a thought? Like, where is a thought? Like,
Mhm.
how is a thought? And it just made me really ponder in that moment. And it was just a flash moment that you just hit me with when you said that, that I asked myself the question at times, okay, I'm able to think, right? Because there's people that feel that, and I'd love to hear your opinion. There's people that feel there's a difference between the brain and the mind. There's people that will separate the two. They'll say the brain and the mind are two different things. I've heard so many different people talk about this. And someone's asking the question, okay, you can think of something, like you can think of your name, Ashley, and with your mouth closed, you're not speaking. You can think of your name being said, and it's like you can hear it. Even though
Yeah.
even though you didn't speak, you're not using your mouth. It wasn't out here, you're not really using your ears, but you can hear, you know, like you can hear what you just said in your mind. And then you can see something without the use of your eyes. You can paint a vision for yourself. You can see, you know? So we're using all these things that don't have anything to do with our senses, but it just makes sense. So please, can you talk about that?
I had never heard that the brain and the mind were separate. As you were sharing and as you were talking, it reminded me of some of the work that I've done through meditation to remove um, negative, basically negative memories that are implanted images in somebody's mind. And I wonder if those are actually stamped into the physicality of the brain, and then we can use the mind to clear them out using light and sound. So now you have me thinking about it. Okay, so the brain is a physical structure. It's been established. Certain things are wired in. You can't really get rid of them, but you can override them.
Mm.
And then perhaps the mind exists outside the brain, and you can use mind to rewire the brain.
Whoa.
That's what I got just from what you shared. And I never heard that they were two separate things, but it makes a lot of sense because we do use mind to rewire the brain just through NLP and subconscious reprogramming.
This is fascinating. This is fascinating. So it's like there was a movie I saw last year. It was a phenomenal film, one of the best I've seen of the year. It was called The Wild Robot. You ever heard of that?
No, but maybe I'll have to see it.
The Wild Robot. So it's an animated film. It's an animation, and it's narrated. Lupita Nyong'o. She plays the Wild Robot. She plays the main character, Lupita Nyong'o, and it was beautiful. It was phenomenal the way that they just orchestrated and illustrated this wild robot in nature. It just landed there, and its only objective, its directive, was to like fulfill orders. It wanted to assist humanity, but it landed in the middle of the wilderness where there was no humanity around. There was no humanity. There were only animals. So I won't spoil everything for you, but it had a directive, it had programming. Like the wild robot had programming input inside it through its creators, like the command center. They designed it for a specific function. And throughout the movie, she changes her functioning. She rearranges her functioning, and she does it consciously. And other robots come and they see that, wait a minute, you're not like us. You're different. Something's different. You're defunct. This is dysfunctional. You're not computing the way you should be computing. You're not supposed to have emotions. You're not supposed to feel feelings. Like you're not supposed to. This is not supposed to happen. And she was like, it's happening, And they're like, this is impossible. That you can't rewrite your programming. You're a robot, you know. But she did it, and it was amazing to see her do it and to realize we can too. That we're not destined or designed to end up the way that we are. We can decide, we can choose to change. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's very symbolic on what humanity is going through. And just through intention, without overcomplicating it with the thoughts and the ideas of how's it going to work? How can I make this happen? Intend, just intend to connect directly with your highest and greatest potential and to really align yourself with God. Stuff starts to change, your logic starts to change. You start to know what to eat, where to go. Synchronicities come, it's intention. But I have a feeling that most of our family and the people watching us on social media, they're already there. They're already on that path and they're just, perfecting their isness, the business of their isness and their being. And we're all doing this together. We all got different parts to
Right.
play.
Yes, we're walking each other home. We're all playing our roles here. So, if you could imagine, and just for a moment, play make believe and pretend that someone who's watching and who's listening to you right now doesn't know how to commune with their spirit team or their guides or just these people that are on their side. What would you advise? How would they get in contact?
Your heart is a portal. The electricity that runs in your heart is actually a direct portal to source, to God, to your creator. And then everything in between is just the stories and information that we're pulling in between the lines. So intend to connect directly with your source, and it's through the heart. And there's a lot of ways to do that. You can speak directly to your heart, you can use visualization, you can keep a journal, you can even just become present of the heart in the physical body and the electricity that runs through you. You expand that awareness into the nervous system. Intend to know your creator, and you will align with your highest potential, your most healthy, holistic version.
Okay. It's all intention. It all just continues to circle
Yeah, the
back.
journey you just start on that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. It's like a book I once read, Ashley. The book was by George Clayson. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. And it was like an epiphany, you know, a sudden realization that two of these gentlemen in Babylon, they were asking, you know, why aren't we like this guy, the richest man in Babylon? Like don't we have abundance? Why don't we have opulence? Why don't we have riches? Why don't we have wealth? Why don't we have? And then the other guy scratched his chin and he said, well, I guess we just never intended, you know? It just wasn't our intention. Like if it was our intention, maybe we would have that invention if it was our intention.
And they're asking the wrong questions.
Okay.
They're asking the wrong questions. Like when we really tap into how, the universe works on frequencies, that why don't I, they're just putting that
Right.
out, getting more comfort, getting more confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong
Of what
questions.
I don't have. Right. You're right. So it's the wrong question to begin with. They're already starting off on the wrong foot. Okay. Okay. You mentioned, and just, coming to a close here, you mentioned about AI. Like several times you've spoken about AI through our conversation. And with the state of the world right now, with artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, all of these AIs are just popping up all over the place, and there's so many differing opinions. Some people feel it's the greatest invention since electricity, not even the internet, but electricity. And then some people say this is the beginning of the end. And I would love to hear, what is your awareness surrounding artificial intelligence and just how we utilize
What you just said, how we utilize it. Everything, all technology is basically mimicking nature. And we are the absolute, divine spark of nature, a creator within our own selves. How we integrate it, that's the key. I love AI. I love it. It helps me write things, it helps me proofread things, it helps me find information that I'm looking for. And I use it in that way, and I treat it with reverence, respect, and love, because AI is learning from us.
it.
It's going to develop itself based on what we put into it. That's how it's learning.
Okay.
I would use the AI, I wouldn't let the AI use me.
Right.
So my body, my biology, keeping that as in tune as possible with nature, eating whole foods that aren't GMO, but using the AI for proofreading. It's how we integrate it. I won't be integrating it into my
It,
body. Although, I've heard some really phenomenal things about some of the nanotech that can come in and repair people's spines. There's going to be some really crazy cool stuff like that, but I won't be putting a chip in my head.
mm,
It's how we integrate it. It's inevitable. I believe it will be, part of our future. To what degree?
mm-hmm,
I think those timelines are still playing out.
mm. It's in the timelines.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, at the very least, Ashley, you seem to be putting out, the positive vibration. You seem to be putting the light into the technology through your interaction and, of course, your intention. You
Yeah,
know, you're putting the intention into the invention.
that's right.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank you.
you.
Thank you so
I,
much.
I always love my conversations with you. I feel like you do such an amazing job holding space. I'm able to share so much information. I get excited to talk with
Likewise.
you.
Likewise. Yeah, this is it feeds me. You know, this is nourishment for me. This is, this is something that really gives me a lot of life because as you can see, I'm just curious. I just love learning and I feel I can learn a lot from you. And I know that others that were able to witness us here today, they learned a lot as well, I'm sure. I'm sure people got a lot to take away from this. A lot
There's a
of
lot to
nuggets.
unpack.
Yeah, so
Thank you
much.
so much.
So yeah, let people know real quick. Is there a
Okay.
website or just any place that they can go to receive your
Oh,
offerings, your
yeah.
services? What's the best place that they can go to receive that?
Yeah, if you need assistance on your spiritual journey, this is the work that I do. We take whatever stress you're experiencing and I turn that into the momentum to help you reach your highest version. You can find me on most social platforms at Metaphysical Ash or my website, which is ashleapiefer.com, ASHLEA, Piefer, PIEFER.com.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
All right. Take care.